The dimly lit bar in downtown Chicago pulsed with the rhythm of Friday night chaos. But for Ethan, it was just another escape from the suffocating weight of his family's expectations. He spotted him across the room, tall, with tousled dark hair and eyes that seemed to hold secrets deeper than the whiskey in his glass. Their gazes locked, and before Ethan could second-guess himself, they were outside, hailing a cab to his apartment, the air thick with unspoken promises that neither intended to keep beyond dawn. Ethan woke up the next morning with a pounding headache and a stranger's arm draped over him. The man, Jake, he'd said his name was, stirred, flashing a lazy smile that made Ethan's stomach twist in a way he hadn't felt since college. "Last night was intense," Jake murmured, his voice rough from sleep. Ethan nodded, forcing a casual grin. "Yeah, fun times. No strings, right?" But as Jake dressed and left with a quick peck on the cheek, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that this hookup had unraveled something inside him. Something he'd buried under layers of denial. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan tried to forget. He threw himself into his job as a graphic designer, sketching logos for startups that promised innovation while his own life felt stagnant. His family back in suburban Illinois didn't help. Weekly calls from his mother were laced with questions about when he'd settle down, find a nice girl, continue the family line. Ethan, at 28, had mastered the art of deflection, but the truth gnawed at him. He was gay, and coming out to his conservative relatives seemed like inviting a storm he wasn't ready to weather. Then, one evening, scrolling through social media, Ethan froze. There, in a suggested friend request, was Jake's profile. But it wasn't just any profile. The bio read, "Engaged to the love of my life," with a photo of Jake beaming next to a woman who looked eerily familiar. Ethan's heart raced as he zoomed in. No, it couldn't be. The woman was his cousin, Sarah, his mother's sister's daughter, the one who'd always been the golden child in family gatherings. How? When? Ethan's mind reeled, piecing together fragments. Sarah had mentioned dating someone new, but never details. And Jake, had he known? Panic set in. Ethan slammed his laptop shut, pacing his small apartment. Was this a coincidence? Or had Jake targeted him somehow? The thought was absurd, but the hookup now felt tainted, like a prelude to some twisted family drama. He grabbed his phone, fingers hovering over Sarah's number. Should he warn her? Confront Jake? Or bury it? Pretend it never happened? The questions swirled, but one thing was clear. This wasn't just a one-night stand anymore. It was a collision course with everything Ethan held dear or feared. As the weekend approached, Ethan found himself at a family barbecue, the kind where aunts gossiped over potato salad and uncles debated politics. Sarah arrived late, Jake in tow, and Ethan's world tilted. Jake's eyes widened in recognition, but he recovered quickly, extending a hand. "Hey man, nice to meet you. Sarah's told me all about her cousins." Ethan shook it, feeling the familiar warmth that now burned like betrayal. "Likewise," he muttered, forcing a smile while his mind screamed questions. Throughout the afternoon, Ethan observed them. Sarah laughed at Jake's jokes, her hand possessively on his arm. Jake avoided Ethan's gaze, focusing on charming the relatives. But in stolen moments, their eyes met. Jake's pleading for silence, Ethan's accusing. By the time dessert was served, Ethan excused himself to the backyard, heart pounding. How could Jake do this? Was he bisexual, experimenting? Or worse, using Sarah as a cover? The societal pressures hit hard. In their Midwest circle, being gay wasn't just personal. It was a scandal that could fracture families. That night, back home, Ethan couldn't sleep. He replayed the hookup, the laughter, the vulnerability shared in whispers. It had felt real, not casual. Had Jake felt it too? Or was Ethan just a secret thrill before settling into heteronormative bliss? The conflict tore at him, loyalty to family versus the ache of unrequited feelings. He decided to dig deeper, starting with a discreet online search. Jake's social media revealed little. Posts about work as a real estate agent, generic couple photos with Sarah. But one old photo caught Ethan's eye, a pride flag in the background of a college party. Was Jake in the closet? The next day, Ethan met Sarah for coffee, feigning casual interest. So, tell me about Jake. He seems great. Sarah's eyes lit up. He's perfect, Ethan. We met at a work event 6 months ago. He's so supportive, wants kids someday. Ethan nodded, swallowing bile. 6 months, right around their hookup. Had Jake been cheating? Or was it before they got serious? The timeline blurred, but the pain sharpened. As they parted, Sarah hugged him. You're coming to the wedding, right? It's in 3 months. Ethan forced enthusiasm, but inside, turmoil brewed. Weeks passed in a haze. Ethan avoided family events, claiming work overload. But Jake reached out via text. We need to talk. They met at a neutral park, the same one where families picnicked obliviously. Jake looked haunted. Ethan, that night. It was a mistake. I'm not gay. I was confused, stressed about the engagement. Ethan scoffed. Confused? You seemed pretty sure then. Jake's voice cracked. Please don't tell Sarah. It'll destroy her. Ethan's anger flared. And what about me? Am I just collateral? The conversation ended in stalemate, both men walking away with wounds reopened. As the wedding loomed, Ethan's internal conflict intensified. Society's gaze weighed heavy. The expectation to conform, the stigma of outing someone, the taboo of cousin marriage. Wait, no, Sarah and Ethan were cousins, but Jake marrying Sarah was fine. But the hookup twisted it into something incestuous in Ethan's mind, a forbidden overlap. He confided in his best friend, Mia, who urged caution. This could blow up the family. Is it worth it? Ethan wrestled with ethics, truth versus peace, love versus loyalty. The invitation arrived like a ticking bomb, gold embossed, announcing Jake and Sarah's union at a quaint chapel in the Chicago suburbs. Ethan stared at it, fingers tracing the names, his mind a whirlwind of resentment and longing. He hadn't spoken to Jake since their park confrontation, but the silence screamed louder than words. At work, Ethan buried himself in projects, but distractions crept in. A colleague's casual mention of a same-sex wedding sparked envy. Why couldn't he have that openness? His family, rooted in traditional values, viewed LGBTQ+ issues as distant liberal agendas. Coming out would mean exile or worse, pity. Yet, hiding felt like suffocation, especially now with Jake's secret mirroring his own. One evening, Ethan attended a support group for queer professionals, a space he'd discovered online. Sharing anonymized bits of his story, he felt a release. I hooked up with this guy, and now he's marrying my cousin, he confessed. Gasps rippled through the room. The older man nodded sympathetically. Sounds like internalized homophobia on his end. But you? Protect your heart. The advice lingered, fueling Ethan's resolve to confront the mess. Sarah called, bubbly with wedding plans. Ethan, I need your help picking ties for the groomsmen. Jake thinks blue, but I'm team gray. Ethan agreed to meet, his ulterior motive bubbling under the surface. At the store, Jake was absent, giving Ethan a chance. Sarah, is everything okay with Jake? He seems distant sometimes. She laughed it off. He's just nervous. Weddings, you know? But her eyes flickered with doubt, planting a seed in Ethan's mind. Later, alone with his thoughts, Ethan pieced together more. A mutual acquaintance revealed Jake had a history of fleeting relationships with men in college, whispered rumors of bisexuality suppressed for career and family. He humanized Jake, making Ethan question if he was villain or victim. Society's rigid boxes, straight or gay, no in-between, forced choices that hurt everyone. Ethan's own denial echoed that. He dated women half-heartedly, avoiding the truth. The rehearsal dinner approached, a lavish affair at a lakeside restaurant. Ethan arrived early, nerves frayed. Jake pulled him aside in the lobby. Why are you here? To ruin everything. Ethan's voice was steady. I'm here for Sarah. But you? You're living a lie. Jake's face crumpled. You don't understand. My family, they'd disown me. Sarah knows nothing. The admission hung heavy, revealing Jake's fear-rooted decisions. During dinner, toasts flowed, praising the couple's perfect match. Ethan watched Sarah's adoring gaze, Jake's forced smiles. A cousin joked about keeping the family tree branching, ignorant of the tangled roots beneath. Ethan's stomach churned. The societal pressure to procreate, to conform, clashed with his hidden identity. As the night ended, Sarah hugged him tightly. "Thanks for being here, 'cause means the world." But sleep evaded Ethan that night. Dreams mixed memories of the hookup with visions of the wedding, Jake's vows ringing false. He woke determined. He couldn't let Sarah marry under deception. Yet, outing Jake felt cruel, a betrayal of the community's unspoken code. The conflict tore at him, personal ethics versus collective pain. In the following days, Ethan sought solace in therapy, a new step toward self-acceptance. His therapist probed gently. "What do you want, Ethan? Truth for her, or peace for you?" The sessions unearthed buried emotions. Jealousy not just of Sarah, but of Jake's ability to hide while Ethan suffered in silence. It was a mirror to societal double standards. Men like Jake could pass, marry, while others like Ethan faced isolation. A chance encounter amplified the drama. At a coffee shop, Ethan bumped into Jake's ex-roommate from college, who spilled beans over lattes. Jake was always conflicted, dated guys on the down low, but family pressure pushed him straight. It confirmed Ethan's suspicions, adding layers to Jake's character, not a monster, but a man trapped by expectations. As the wedding neared, family tensions surfaced. Ethan's aunt, Sarah's mother, confided worries. "Jake's great, but sometimes I wonder if he's fully committed." Ethan bit his tongue, the weight of knowledge crushing. At a pre-wedding brunch, arguments erupted over trivialities, masking deeper rifts. Conservative uncles decrying modern lifestyles, oblivious to the gay cousin in their midst. Ethan's breaking point came during a solo drive to the venue. Tears blurred the highway as he grappled with choices. Speak now or forever hold peace. The societal spotlight on weddings as pinnacles of normalcy mocked his turmoil. Arriving early, he found Jake alone in the groom's suite, adjusting his tie with trembling hands. "We can't keep avoiding this," Ethan said, closing the door. Jake turned, eyes desperate. "Please, Ethan. One night doesn't define me." But Ethan's voice rose. "It does when it's built on lies. Sarah deserves better." Jake slumped. "I love her, in my way, but that night with you, it was real too." The confession cracked the facade, revealing bisexual complexities society often erased. They argued in hushed tones, doors away from blissfully ignorant guests. Jake admitted fears of rejection, of losing everything. Ethan empathized, sharing his own closet struggles. For a moment, vulnerability bridged them, but reality intruded. A knock from the best man. As Jake composed himself, Ethan whispered, "This isn't over." The ceremony began under sunny skies, guests murmuring approvals. Ethan sat in the pews, heart hammering. As Jake walked down the aisle, their eyes met again. Regret in Jake's, resolve in Ethan's. The vows approached, and Ethan's mind raced. Intervene or let fate unfold. The organ music swelled as Sarah appeared at the end of the aisle, radiant in white lace, her smile unwavering. Ethan's throat tightened. She looked so hopeful, so unaware. Jake stood at the altar, posture rigid, his glance toward Ethan a silent plea. The congregation rose, but Ethan remained seated a beat longer, the weight of unspoken truths anchoring him. The minister's words droned on about love's sanctity, commitment's trials. Each syllable twisted the knife in Ethan's gut. He scanned the faces, his mother beaming, uncles nodding sagely, all embodying the heteronormative ideal that suffocated him. Society's script, boy meets girl, marries, reproduces, left no room for deviations like his, or Jake's hidden facets. As rings were exchanged, Ethan's mind flashed to their night together. Not lust, but connection, whispers of shared loneliness. Was that love, or desperation? The conflict raged. Expose the hookup and shatter the illusion, or preserve the facade at his own expense. Outing Jake could label Ethan the villain, the jealous gay cousin disrupting family harmony. Vows echoed, in sickness and in health. Jake's voice steadied, but Ethan caught the tremor. Sarah's was pure joy. When the minister asked if anyone objected, The room held its breath. Ethan's hand twitched, but silence won. He couldn't do it here, not like this. The kiss sealed it, applause erupting as Ethan's world blurred with tears. At the reception, champagne flowed, toasts celebrated the perfect couple. Ethan nursed a drink in the corner, avoiding dances. Sarah pulled him onto the floor. "Lighten up, Ethan. It's a party." He forced a twirl, but his eyes found Jake across the room, conversing with relatives. Their stolen glance spoke volumes, relief mixed with sorrow. Later, in the restroom, Jake cornered him. "Thank you for not saying anything." Ethan's anger surged. "Don't thank me. This isn't forgiveness." Jake's eyes softened. "I never meant to hurt you. That night, it awakened something, but I can't upend my life." Ethan scoffed. "So you upend mine? And Sarah's?" The exchange highlighted societal hypocrisies. Men like Jake could experiment discreetly, while others bore the scars. Back at the party, family dynamics unraveled subtly. An uncle's offhand joke about keeping it in the family hit too close, given the cousin twist. Though legal in Illinois, it carried whispers of taboo. Ethan overheard aunts gossiping. "Sarah's so lucky. Jake's from good stock." The pressure to conform choked him, mirroring his own fears of rejection if he came out. As cake was cut, Ethan slipped outside for air. The night sky mocked his isolation. Mia texted, "How's it going?" He replied honestly, "Hell." Her response urged strength. "Your truth matters too." It sparked a shift. Perhaps the real conflict wasn't just Jake's lie, but Ethan's silence. Post-wedding, life resumed with undercurrents. Sarah and Jake honeymooned in Hawaii, posting idyllic photos that twisted Ethan's envy. He threw himself into advocacy, volunteering at LGBTQ+ centers, channeling pain into purpose. But family calls brought reminders. "When will you find someone, Ethan?" His mother's words stung, oblivious to his turmoil. Weeks later, a package arrived. An anonymous letter with photos from that college party. Jake amid pride flags. Ethan's breath caught. Someone new. Was it blackmail? Or a push toward truth? He confronted Jake via call. "What's this?" Jake panicked. "I don't know." "Destroy it." But Ethan saw opportunity or destruction. The scandal potential loomed. If revealed, it could annul the marriage, expose Jake, fracture the family. Societal judgment on bisexuality, on family secrets, weighed heavy. Ethan debated with Mia. Is it revenge? She countered. Or justice? His motives blurred. Love for Sarah. Resentment toward Jake. Self-preservation. Family Thanksgiving approached, the first post-wedding gathering. Tensions simmered. Sarah glowed with marital bliss. Jake played the doting husband. But cracks showed. Sarah confided in Ethan privately. "Jake's been distant lately. Work stress, I think." Ethan's heart ached. Should he hint? Instead, he listened, loyalty torn. During dinner, politics arose. Debates on gay rights, uncles dismissing agendas. Ethan bit back retorts, but Jake's silence irked him. Later, in the kitchen, they clashed. "You sit there pretending," Ethan hissed. Jake whispered back. "And you?" Still hiding. The mirror reflection stung, highlighting shared cowardice amid societal pressures. Ethan left early, driving home with resolve building. He drafted an email to Sarah, anonymous, detailing the hookup without graphic details. But hesitation struck. Was this kindness or cruelty? The ethical dilemma peaked. Truth's liberation versus deception's comfort. Months passed, the letter unsent. Jake reached out unexpectedly, suggesting coffee. They met at the same park, closure hanging in the air. Jake looked weary. Sarah's pregnant. Ethan's world spun. "Congratulations." Jake's eyes teared. "I thought marriage would fix me, but I miss us." The admission cracked Ethan's armor, revealing mutual feelings suppressed by norms. They talked for hours, unpacking fears. Jake admitted bisexuality, pressured into straight life by family expectations. Ethan shared his closet struggles, the fear of disownment. For the first time, empathy bridged them, but reality loomed. A child complicated everything. As they parted, Jake pleaded, "Let us be." Ethan nodded, but doubt lingered. Back home, he burned the photos, choosing silence for now. But the conflict festered, societal chains tightening. The news of Sarah's pregnancy rippled through the family like a celebratory wave. But for Ethan, it was a tsunami of complications. Calls flooded in. "You're going to be an uncle," sort of. His mother's excitement masked the underlying expectation for him to follow suit. Ethan forced cheers, but inside, betrayal festered. Jake's confession at the park echoed. Missed connections, suppressed desires, all crushed under societal weight. Work became a refuge, but even there, inclusivity seminars highlighted ironies. Companies preaching diversity, while Ethan's personal life lagged in shadows. He dated sporadically, men who understood discretion, but none filled the void Jake left. The hookup, once casual, now symbolized lost potential, a casualty of conformity. Christmas brought forced reunions. At the family home, Sarah's bump drew adoring touches, Jake hovering protectively. Ethan observed their dynamic, affection genuine, yet strained. During gift exchange, a cousin's quip about expanding the gene pool stirred unease. The cousin marriage, though accepted, carried subtle judgments in progressive circles, amplifying the drama. Alone with Sarah by the tree, Ethan probed gently. "Happy?" She sighed. "Mostly. Jake's amazing, but sometimes he seems elsewhere." Ethan's pulse quickened. Opportunity knocked. "Talk to him," he advised, stopping short of revelation. Guilt gnawed. Was withholding truth complicity in deception? Later, Jake found him on the porch. "Thanks for not stirring trouble." Ethan's retort was sharp. "For Sarah's sake, not yours." Jake's vulnerability surfaced. "I love her, Ethan, but part of me regrets not exploring more." The bisexual admission humanized him, a man navigating identities in a binary world. Society's erasure of fluidity fueled their pain. Labels demanded, nuances ignored. Ethan returned to Chicago, therapy sessions intensifying. "You're carrying their burden," his therapist noted. "Release it." But how? The ethical tangle persisted. Expose for authenticity or silence for stability? Online forums debated similar dilemmas, opinions split. Some championed truth, others warned of fallout. A turning point came via an unexpected email from Jake's college ex. The roommate Ethan had met, heard about the marriage. Jake's pattern. Hides, hurts. Attached were messages proving Jake's past deceptions. Evidence mounted, pushing Ethan toward action. But motives questioned. Justice or jealousy? Family New Year's party amplified rifts. Uncles toasted traditional values, decrying woke culture. Ethan, emboldened by wine, challenged mildly. "Love's love, right?" Silence fell, eyes turning. His mother changed topics, but seeds planted. Jake shot him a warning glance, fear evident. Post-party, Sarah called in tears. "Jake and I fought," he admitted. "Confusion before we met." Ethan's breath hitched. "What kind?" She hesitated. "About his sexuality." The partial truth hung. Jake's controlled narrative protecting himself. Ethan comforted. "People are complex." But anger brewed, Jake spinning half-lies. Confrontation ensued. Ethan drove to their home, finding Jake alone. "You told her half?" "Coward." Jake defended. "To protect the baby, us." Argument escalated, voices rising. "You used me as an experiment," Ethan accused. Jake countered. "It was mutual. You hid too." The mirror shattered illusions, revealing shared flaws. Sarah returned mid-fight, shock freezing her. "What's going on?" Silence stretched. Ethan broke it. "Ask Jake about the night we met. Before you." Her face paled. Jake pleaded. "It was nothing." But Sarah demanded details. Ethan, voice steady, recounted minimally. A bar meet, a connection, no graphics. The room exploded in accusations, betrayal, lies, family ties twisted. Sarah stormed out, leaving the men in ruins. Jake turned on Ethan. "Happy now?" Ethan shook. No, but she deserved truth. The fallout began. Calls to relatives, whispers spreading. Society's gaze intensified. Scandal in conservative circles, judgments on bisexuality, on cousin dynamics oddly spotlighted. In the ensuing weeks, divorce talk surfaced. Sarah, heartbroken but resilient, leaned on Ethan. How could I not see? He consoled, guilt mixing with relief. Family divided. Some blamed Jake, others Ethan for meddling. His mother confronted. You destroyed them. Why? Ethan's coming out tumbled out. Because I'm gay, Mom, and I couldn't watch another lie. The revelation rippled, acceptances varying. Uncles distanced, aunts offered tentative support. Ethan felt liberated yet isolated, societal progress clashing with personal costs. Jake, facing disownment, sought therapy, acknowledging his truths. As dust settled, Ethan reflected on choices. The hookup, once trivial, catalyzed change, exposing hypocrisies, forcing growth. But at what price? Relationships mended slowly. Sarah forgave. Co-parenting plans formed. Jake and Ethan shared awkward nods at family events. Past passions buried. Ethan dated openly now, embracing identity. Yet, scars remained. Reminders of societal pressures molding lives. The drama, once personal, sparked broader discussions. Family chats on acceptance, subtle shifts in views. Spring brought renewal, but for Ethan, it was a season of reckoning. Sarah's baby shower buzzed with cautious optimism. Relatives tiptoeing around the divorce elephant. Jake attended briefly, handing gifts with downcast eyes. Ethan watched from afar, emotions complex. Pity for Jake's unraveling, pride in Sarah's strength, and his own evolving peace. Post-shower, Sarah pulled him aside. Thanks for everything. Your honesty saved me from a lifetime of doubt. Ethan nodded, but doubt lingered. Had he acted from altruism or spite? The societal lens judged harshly, meddlers in marriages often vilified, especially in queer contexts where privacy was sacred. Jake's life fractured further. Disowned by conservative parents, he moved to a smaller apartment, seeking LGBTQ+ support groups. Their paths crossed at one meeting, awkward but healing. I get it now, Jake admitted. Hiding hurt everyone. Ethan offered a truce. We both did. The exchange underscored personal growth amid chaos. Society's slow acceptance forcing confrontations. Family dynamics shifted irreversibly. Ethan's coming out prompted dialogues. His mother attended PFLAG meetings. Uncles grumbled but listened. The cousin marriage, once unremarked, now symbolized tangled fates. Legal yet controversial, mirroring hidden identities. Online, anonymous posts debated, is outing ever justified? Opinions clashed, echoing Ethan's turmoil. Ethan's career flourished, designs incorporating pride themes subtly. He dated a kind man, Alex, who understood scars. Their relationship bloomed honestly, a contrast to past deceptions. Yet, memories haunted. That bar night, now a pivotal hook in his story. Sarah gave birth to a boy, naming him after their grandfather. At the hospital, Jake and Ethan stood vigil, united in awkward support. Sarah's smile bridged divides. Family's what we make it. The moment humanized them beyond labels. As months passed, Ethan wrote a journal, processing the drama's kinks, betrayal, revelation, redemption, wove a tapestry of human frailty. Society's evolving norms offered hope, but old stigmas persisted, fueling ongoing conflicts. Jake rebuilt, embracing bisexuality publicly, advocating online. Their shared past became a cautionary tale, whispered in queer circles. Ethan, reflecting, wondered if silence would have been kinder or cowardly. In quiet evenings, Ethan pondered the chain, a casual encounter spiraling into family upheaval. Choices defined them. Jake's denial, Sarah's resilience, his intervention. The narrative closed, but questions lingered. Was Ethan's decision to reveal the truth an act of courage, or a selfish disruption that could have been avoided?